Hello and welcome back to part 3 of Another Corpse. Let's begin. I then look to see inside the building in her absence. The door still left wide open. I peer in. A floor of wood, a stone spiralling staircase going up, designed like an old cottage on the interior. A fireplace to the back wall. It looks like a kitchen and a tea room from which to eat. A big wooden table I see, and a small wooden pod, and inside, the child. I hear the lady speak in the distance. "You'll be okay, my baby. I'll patch you right up." Now knowing she's occupied with her beasts, I dart and grab the child gently. While he is still asleep, cradle him in my arms and begin my way out, looking side to side to ensure I am not seen. As I now am at the stairs, I can hear the old lady continue singing her out-of-tune song, but this time I can make out the lyrics. "Dead, dead, you'll all be dead." In a continuous loop she sings, and as I make my way out to the top, the baby screams crying, and too I hear an echo of the angry old crone. With fearful haste of what could be lurking in that hole, I sprint my way back. I see my mark upon the tree, and eventually I make it to the path again. It is clear now I am not safe, as now I can hear the loud familiar screeches of the beasts, obviously more than one this time. They are on the hunt for me. I take off my coat and quickly fashion a baby carrier, placing the child at my chest. I draw my gun and load it fully, and run my way hopefully out of this path. Harder and harder I press forth. I see the opening, and to the side the horse grazing still. But yet I am not free yet. There are the gurgles, and they're still nearby. Nearly out, my road is blocked by a vision of black. Two of the beasts have stopped my track. One of them familiar, satchel strapped to its shoulder, but this time his hand is back. The other smaller, with spikes out of its skull, its body smaller and leaner. I have no time to think this over. The time is now for either to fight or flight. The little one charges foolishly. I fire, bullseye straight and true, the bullet passing right through its skull like a hot knife through butter. Its body drops straight to the ground. Now, only left is my new acquaintance. He decides to take a new tactic and rush to the bushes to the side, but not to flee of course, but to make it difficult to hit. I can hear it, disrupting the flora. Then suddenly to my left it leaps. I step to the side, just like last time. This time, he has my leg and pulls me to my back. He begins to drag me down the forest track. Pistol still in my hand, I fire at the base of its head. I only graze him, making another pass to his balding head. My vision was still in a daze from the fall. He lets go and runs away, this time a retreat, as I hear him whimper and scream slowly, and then slowly disappears. The boy child crying more than ever. I begin my way to the horse fast. The mysteriously wasn't shaken by what had occurred. The horse was so calm, it was so odd. At its hooves I mount again and begin my way back fast to Morton. I must tell the authorities of what I have found. After some time I make it to the stone and iron walls of Morton. The injured guards have been replaced. I look back to ensure there is no evidence of beasts stalking me. The child is now asleep, the repetitive trotting put into slumber I assume. I check my pocket watch to see it is 12 p.m. As I pass, the new guards asked, "Are the two from earlier okay?" One replies, "Your guess is as best as ours. They were covered in wounds and barely conscious. We have also been told to inform you, if you returned, that the mother of the child is waiting for you at the police station." I nod, thank them, and continue my way. As I enter the city further, it is now rush hour. Carts and people bustling with movement. The child not hindered by its noise either. After a while I came across where I picked up this horse, and waiting there a boy, dressed in brown trousers with suspenders holding them up with a blue shirt tucked in and a brown cap upon his head. He then shouts, "Mister, that is not your horse. It belongs to my father. He was late to his job because of you. Return her now." I respond in a calm voice, "Of course you can have her back. I am sorry to inconvenience your father, but please explain to him that it was to save the life of this child." The boy still grouching expression, "Let it be," as I dismount, and I hand the reins over to him. I reach into my pocket and give a few coins for his troubles. With a change of expression, the boy becomes joyful. Now upon foot, I head down the twists and turns of Morden for a few more minutes, until I reach the police station. At the front, on one of the benches, I see the mother of a child waiting hunched over, looking at her feet. A man that I presume is the husband, with arms wrapped around her. They see me approach, and as if a jolt of lightning struck them, they leapt up and quickly moved to me, shouting, "Thank you, thank you!" Tears of joy running down both their cheeks, arms outstretched as I hand over their son, who is awoken and stares them in their eyes and giggles. I found it hard to find the words to reply, so I just went with, I had to do what I had to do. It was only right. The husband outreaches to shake my hand, and I accept, grasp firmly and say, "I am sorry to cut this short, but I must go into the station. I have information on these beasts that could end them from coming to Morton ever again." As I begin entering the station, the mother of the child raises her voice to be heard. "You and your family invited for dinner at our house this evening, around 7? Please come. I must thank you for this." I turn my head, smile and reply, "I do hope I can make it. Thank you." Now inside the station, I am greeted by one of the younger officers working at the front desk, who clearly knows me as he greets me by name. "How can we help you, Mr. Venandi?" In an attempt to contain my excitement to the boy, I reply with control, "I may have found out where these beasts are coming from. I need to speak to the chief." The younger officer's eyes open wide and speaks with excitement similar to what I feel. "After hundreds of years, you may have found something no one else could have. I will tell the chief you are here." The young man runs out of his seat and sets off into action. Only but a brief moment in time passes until he rushes back and collects me, opens the door to the offices at the back where the people are working, moving papers, using typewriters at speeds that sound like raindrops on steel sheets. Down the narrow passage of the office, I am finally brought to an isolated room at the back. Its door a golden plaque with Chief Spectorum chiseled in it. The door opens quickly. A tall man greets me. It's a familiar face, pale-skinned, deep red handlebarred mustache, blue eyes, and a fancy chief uniform. The chief and I have been working together for a few years now. Since I've stopped hunting deer and switched to beasts, he has asked me to track many targets. He then lets me in and sees me to my seat at the front desk. He sits down in his chair and puts his feet up on the corner of the table and relaxes a little. "So I hear you have found good news, Venandi," he says under a slight grin. "Yes, the beast that I've been tracking recently led me to a hole in the ground in Perdita, where may also contain more than just beasts." I give a grin in return. "What do you mean more than just beasts, Venandi?" The chief still keeps his composure. I haven't seen it broken ever. "I mean that, when tracking this creature, it led me to this hole, which inside I found a building deep within, with an old lady living inside who clearly wanted the child." I replied, "Interesting. What do you think this woman is doing so deep under the earth?" The chief scratching his head. "Well, from what I've gathered from this encounter, it seems that she controls the beasts, so all I can assume she is some sort of witch. But still, I'm not sure what she wanted with the child." My voice was showing uncertainty in that time. "Well, if she's a witch, probably a spell." The chief giggled under his fuzzy lip. "Well, of course a spell, but this also may explain why those creatures have been only targeting hearts of the people they hunt, and nothing else. There may be something to this," I replied. "Well, it doesn't matter about what she is using them for. We have an idea where she is, and this gives us an opportunity for strategy to potentially get rid of these beasts for good. I think if we go there with a few men, sneak in and place layers of explosives, we blow this hole up and bury the creatures with that witch." The chief says with certainty, "Well, if you so wish, I can take you there and we can try to execute this sudden plan and see what comes of it. But I am still uncertain it will work. I've never encountered a witch. Do they need air to even breathe?" I replied. The chief then spouts out in reply, "Only one way to find out. and a little bit of laughter came through. "You have done good. You're one of the best people for this work. We should try to do this as soon as we can, and I won't be able to get the dynamite until possibly tomorrow morning. This may be an issue due to the witch clearly knowing that we know where she is. Well, we'll just have to hope for the best for tonight. I say be careful and stay with that family, just in case of anything going on under the cover of night." I agree with him and say, "Very well. They invited me anyway for dinner. Might as well make it a whole night event while we are there." The chief sees me out through the office to the front desk, where I say goodbye. When I'm at the door, my farewells to everyone in the office and colleagues who warn me to be careful. Where I again nod in acknowledgement, I check my pocket watch once more. It is 1 PM. I decide to head to my family shop for lunch with my wife and son for the dinner and sleepover. That is the end of part 3. Thank you very much for listening. If you like the content, please subscribe. In the description down below I do have a BitChute account. Please subscribe there as well. I'm just trying to outreach my material as far as I can. When I get more updated equipment, I will try to make better quality videos. At the moment I have quite a low budget, so yeah, once I can get the funds, I'll work on making better material. Thank you very much, and this has been Matty G111. See you in the next video.